Hi everyone, and a massive welcome to another exciting episode here on InfoSec Live. Today we're back for the CISO Mentor with Ido Ganor, where we're going to be talking about how to prepare for and successfully deliver our request for budget and our plans for the boardroom. But before we begin, for those that haven't tuned in before, my name's Simon Linstead. I'm the host and founder of the InfoSec Live community, and we have lots of fun on these shows, and I can see there's tons of you in the chat already. So I want you to get your questions ready. If you haven't subscribed before, please hit that subscribe button. We'd like to make these as interactive as possible. I should have said at the start, actually, a massive welcome to our nearly 6,500 subscribers, which is where we are today after only, I think, 18 months of having the YouTube channel. So it's a massive achievement for us. And I'm sure that you know it's launched a series of It's always nice when you talk to yourself for 5 minutes. I don't know if you can hear me now. Can you hear me now, Ido? No? No more green light? No sound? Hold on. Let me just check this out. Settings, audio. Test, test. Can you hear me now? You can hear me now. Okay, I'll start again. Thanks ever so much. A massive welcome for the second time to another insightful and exciting episode of the CISO Mentor with myself and Ido Ganor. For those that haven't tuned in before, you can normally hear me from the start, so apologies for any sound issues we've had. But I was just saying a massive welcome to our nearly 6,500 subscribers on this channel, which since we only launched 18 months ago really is something. And I think our leadership content's clearly hitting the mark out there with people. So if you haven't subscribed, please hit that button. I'm not going to ramble through all the other bits again, apart from the fact that we've now launched some in-person UK and US events aimed at bringing leadership together to knowledge share and share best practice. If you're interested in finding out more about how you can get involved in that, either as an attendee or as a potential sponsor, please do reach out to me. Next one's alongside InfoSecurity Europe next week, actually, which Ido and I are going to be talking about today, because I'm very excited to be working on Stand V18 with CISO Terrier. I've got that much belief in the product and what these guys are doing. So enough rambling from me. Thanks to all the normal faces I can see in the chat. Welcome to some new ones. Let's bring Ido on and dig in. I've just noticed Mike Brass being disappointed that you can hear me now. Thanks for that, Mike. I'm not sure what the problem was, but I invested in these little microphones a few weeks ago, and they haven't been a problem up until now. But I'm assuming that maybe the batteries run out on one. So apologies for that at the start. But Ido, thanks for joining us again.
Oh, good being here. Thank you for having me.
It's my absolute pleasure. Do you want to give the audience a bit about what we're going to be talking about today?
Yes, actually, the board meetings, board is becoming more and more involved in cybersecurity. We've seen this transition. Actually, you know, I've been in the security industry specifically for about 20 years, and in the computer industry for over 30 years. And in the last 10 years, we are seeing a transition as we all see the market is growing. Actually, 10 years ago, the word cyber even was not existing. I don't know if you all remember, but it's just something that came up in the last few years. Anyhow, I think that this year is a major change, significant change in what's going on in the market. And I think to that, there are two elements that drive this change. One is the privacy, starting from GDPR, CCPA, any CCNA, sorry, any type of CCPA, sorry, any type of privacy regulations are driving towards the management, executive management, because now it's not anymore we have a problem with our data or with our customers. Now we have a problem with the law.
Yeah.
So that's the starting point. And now
all of a sudden people start to take it seriously. Yeah.
Exactly. Absolutely. And on one hand, people do not like the government to take control and to put laws into place. But on the other hand, it works.
Yeah.
Now that once the SEC published its position, its statement just about 4 or 5 months ago.
Yeah.
So once they put the need for the board to start, they even just note that they are kind of putting a paper saying, hey, board of directors, please be aware, cybersecurity, it's something you need to take care. It's part of your responsibility. Be involved.
Yeah.
Understand what you are talking about. So on one hand, we see the cybersecurity, the board members, which are understanding that they need to be involved in cybersecurity. Take these laws, take the SEC, take the breaches, which are growing again. We talked about it tons of times, how there is growth in breaches more and more because lack of focus on processes. And together, all of that comes to a point, which in my opinion, we are getting closer to cross the chasm with cybersecurity. That's how I see it.
Yeah. I'll just stop you there because people see you on here as the founder of CISO. I think it's really relevant to talk about what you've been doing the last 15 years as the day job, because that's effectively what's helped shape the platform that you've built. So do you mind just taking a couple of minutes to talk about that? Just to frame, I suppose, why we're calling you the CISO mentor here, because it isn't just about the platform, it is about you,
yes.
Ido.
Yes, because I'm now with the head of a vendor, of CISO. Yeah. But yes, you're absolutely right. And let me share with you also my experience and what we've been doing and what I'm doing also today with CISO, or in parallel to working with CISO. I established IPv Security, a consulting firm, 18 years ago. And in our consulting firm, we've been providing penetration testing, risk surveys, compliance services. And 12 years ago, we were the first to start this locally here. We started CISO as a service. 12 years ago, we were the first in our country. We were the first to offer CISO as a service. And there were almost no CISOs. Companies did not have any CISOs. And actually, the interesting part, why did we offer it? It was kind of, it was in a way, it was a coincidence. Because how did it come up? Because we've been providing risk surveys. And every time I've done a risk survey, a few months after, I went to the customer, say, hey, we gave you a report with lots of findings. What did you do? And in many cases, the answer was nothing. Exactly. We didn't have time. We didn't have resources. We couldn't do.
Yeah.
But hey, you paid me money to put a risk survey report for you, and you did nothing with it. Why?
Yeah.
And not leave this aside that you paid me money. We found out critical vulnerabilities in your environment. You are vulnerable to a huge breach, and you did nothing. So one of the customers where I approached a few months later said, hey, why would you come and manage for me and assist and help me manage the mitigation processes? Help me manage it. Don't do it yourself. We have an IT team, but we will do. Just help me manage it and make sure that it happens. And that was our first CISO service. Anyhow, since then until today, there is a group at IPv Security of 8 people which provide CISO services. We provide CISO services to 30 companies. Some of them are international companies with lots of branches around the globe, and some of them are small startups. So we have with thousands of employees and so forth. So practically, when we talked about the name for the CISO mentor, I am the CISO mentor of all of the CISOs at IPv Security, which day to day we are working and providing CISO services to different companies. Just a couple of weeks ago, I participated in a board meeting that one of our CISOs actually presented in front of the board. There were a room of 30 people. It's a public company. and we were just presenting to this board of directors what's going on. And I really thought that it is something that is on the table. CISO needs to know. And this is why I thought it might be a good idea to discuss about it. And obviously, it also relates to CISOteria, because that's part of why we decided to found CISOteria.
Yeah, thanks for sharing that. I think it's important because the platform has been built out of the challenges and the problems that you've seen throughout your own career. It isn't just something that's sprung up overnight. You know, you've been building this for a long time now. And yeah, anyway, back to the boardroom bit.
Yeah. So anyhow, looking at the board, let me discuss with you. Let's think about a scenario that can happen to any CISO in a mid-sized company. It can happen any day. Let's assume today it's a Tuesday afternoon. Today we are Thursday afternoon, but let's say or Thursday morning. Sorry for the ones in the US. But let's assume that we are Tuesday afternoon, and you get a call from the CEO office saying, "Hey, today it's Tuesday, but I'm sorry for the last minute notice, but this coming Monday, we have a board meeting and we would like you to present in front of the board what's our company status in regards to cyber risks and where we stand in compliance, cyber risk, where do we stand?" Now, this is something...
How are you meant to pull all that together in a few days, right?
Exactly. So the first thing you do, you pick up the phone for 30 minutes, you cancel all of your meetings from now to the end of the week. You have 4, 5, 6 days, including the weekend, to work on a meeting for next Monday for the board meeting. Now, why do you need to close that much time? Because now you need to start collecting data for the meeting. You need to start putting your presentation up.
Yeah.
It's something that you have nothing, you have no option. You just need to make a presentation to the board. And then you start thinking about, what should I present? What to include? What should I have in this presentation in front of the board? So you cancel the meetings, and now you start thinking, okay, let's see what we have done in the last 3 months. So for example, we have a new firewall. We just finished its installation. A month ago, we conducted a phishing campaign for all of our employees. We have the results. I can present it to the board. We had 3 suspicious events in the last 3 months, which resulted in no big issue. Should I present it or not? Don't know. Should I? Shouldn't I? The security IT team is behind schedule. There's a tons of tasks that they need to deploy in order to make sure that we have no open vulnerabilities, and they are behind. Should I report it to the board? Shouldn't I report it to the board? Question.
Probably.
Now, all of these examples are real life examples. These are things that we are seeing on a daily basis. Then we need to comply with GDPR. Actually, we were supposed to have the meeting on this coming Thursday, discussing about actually seeing how do we comply or what are the gaps that we still need to close in order to meet the GDPR. Yeah. Okay, so hey, actually maybe the meeting on Thursday for the GDPR I should not cancel. Maybe I should keep it on because I want to present it to the board on Monday. Okay. Another thing, our competitors last week got a breach, for example. So should we present it to the board? Should we tell them what was the outcome? It was a zero-day breach. Should we discuss it with the board? Shouldn't I discuss it with the board? This is, Simon, just simple examples of the real life of the day-to-day of a CISO.
Yeah, and the decisions that have to be made.
Exactly. And you don't know what to do. Now you need to start gathering data, and this is why 5-6 days is not enough.
Well, this leads us in nicely. Actually, we're talking about data here to a question that's come in from Dr. Mike Brass. Do you mind just picking that up quickly? Is that all right?
So it's just read it true. Yes. Oh, great. Thank you.
So when you're talking with the board, obviously linked to the business strategy, do you leverage qualitative or quantitative methods in your methodology, or hybrid? Curiosity question more than anything else.
Actually, I would say it's a combination. I always prefer, it should be in hybrid, to just the short summary for this question. But specifically, any type of qualitative data should be backed with quantitative data.
Yes.
So it's not, so it's a combination. But bear in mind that you need to speak with the board. By the way, in this board meeting, just that I was just participating a couple of weeks ago, somehow the CISO during the presentation put in one of his slides IR.
What's
so
that?
immediately someone raised up what's
that?
IR? Oh, yeah. IR, it's immediate response. Okay, thank you. What's an immediate response team?
Yeah. What's that for?
Yeah. So speaking, so yes, you need quantitative, you need qualitative data, but you need to speak to the language they understand. Now, I've seen a couple of posts, and I've seen some people on LinkedIn which say that the board should learn cybersecurity. They should have a course to learn more technology and understand more security. I've seen quite a bit of people that their argument is that everything is today, all companies run on technology. Cyber is part of technology. And
can you hear me now? I've just put this microphone back on. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And wasn't that part of the recent SEC guidelines that we're talking about today? Wasn't part of those recommendations the fact that there should be someone on the board who actually knows a little bit about security and what it means? But
yes.
It seems like a lot of companies are maybe sending their people on a one-day training course to get up to the point for that, maybe than the in-depth knowledge that they need. Maybe I'm wrong.
I think in my opinion, they need to understand the main elements that refer to the board.
Yeah.
Which again, it's in money, it's in loss of life, it's in this what concerns the board. If you have a firewall or you don't have a firewall, they couldn't care less. And I'll get in a few minutes to what are the questions that I believe that we need to be able to answer the board, and we need to prepare for them. And I will say more than that, we need a habit in regards to that. It's not just we get a call, speak with the board. We should think about that like we are having a breach tomorrow morning. We need to be prepared for a breach. We need to be prepared for a board meeting. We don't need to get a call and then move everything aside and for a week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks just preparing the presentation for the board. It's something, because why? Because in my opinion, that's also all the elements which you need to present to the board should be your elements to work with your work plan. This is your work plan. You should go over your work plan and understand this information and this data. And again, I'll get in a few minutes, we'll get more to the details of what I refer to. Do you want to discuss some more questions here?
Yeah, well, I've actually had a question come in outside of the chat from someone I know who works for a very large vendor, Steve Armstrong, Apexer IQ. Thank you for the question. How do you actually quantify the dollar risk of a breach, though? Is it finger in the air, or is it an educated guess? I thought that was such a good question. I'd have to bring it in.
Excellent question. It's an excellent question. Absolutely. That's a question.
I even thought about taking credit for it myself, but everyone would have known that wasn't my question.
It is an excellent question. And let me tell you what we do. How do we quantify? The first thing, we start by talk with your management, with executives, and ask them what their value, their gut feeling value of that. That's the first step in the way I usually try. Before I do all the quantitative, and there's lots of the different algorithms and things, speak with the CEO and ask him, what are your critical business assets? And now let's dig into each one of your business assets and tell me, why do you think it's big? And and now tell me, in your gut feeling, what if for some reason confidentiality, integrity, or availability of this specific business assets will be breached, in your feeling, what can happen to the company? Now, by the way, leave aside in a second, again, what I'm saying right now, it's not quantitative.
Yeah.
It's gut feeling. But with my experience, by the way, once you will conduct all the quantitative algorithms, you will find out that the gut feeling of the CEO is very close to these numbers.
Yeah, it's fun. Actually, Greg Vandergast's in the audience. Good to see you, Greg. And he's put
Great.
downtime by business function / process. The owners will know the lost value per minute, day, and we don't even need to calculate it. And the bonus is it brings the stakeholders into the process.
Absolutely. Yeah, Greg has been speaking about this quite a bit, and yeah, I've been hearing quite a bit what Greg has been saying about this, and it's exactly that.
Yeah.
So you can see that, but by the way, this is relates to availability, what Greg just mentioned. There's also confidentiality and integrity, which are two different aspects of cybersecurity, which we also need to think. But again, loss per day, once the business is not working for a day, you know exactly, you can really calculate exactly how much loss.
Yeah.
What you don't need is when your brand is being when your brand is being somehow being breached in a way, so everyone knows that let's assume that the data of your customers was breached, and it was published in the industry, in the publications, and now you need to understand how much would it cost you, because it's very hard to estimate how many customers would lose, would not continue working with you, or will go off. So these are type of things which are hard to estimate. Yeah. But the idea really, now let me take it to the next step. The next step to me is not only getting the exact number. We should get a ballpark number. And that's, in my opinion, the critical part. If you get a ballpark number, it's good enough. It's good enough to understand, because for this asset, the ballpark number is X. And for these business assets, the ballpark number is Y. Now you know that Y is X or Y is double than the other, then you probably need to invest more towards protecting your assets, which can. But it is a tough question. I absolutely agree. And again, we'll get maybe later on to CISOteria, and we'll show how we do it with CISOteria, how we connect the dots exactly with CISOteria.
Excellent. Just trying to reply to questions while you're talking. I can't do
two
things at once.
Yeah, more multitasking, right? It's a
myth. It's a myth, is what it is.
Absolutely, it is. Okay.
I'm all about the monotasking. I think for the way my brain works, if I've got too many things open at one time, I'm like a dog getting distracted by a squirrel every 2 seconds, and I don't get anything done. So I try, which I haven't done today, I try and close down all the tabs on my screen first to help me focus on one thing. Doesn't always work though, let's be honest.
It is tough. Yeah, so confidentiality, by the way, it's another element besides the availability. And speaking about quantification, also integrity. Integrity, it's even tougher. By the way, integrity in cybersecurity, it's the number one concern that is probably the less being dealt by everyone in the industry.
Yeah.
Integrity, where integrity comes into point? Integrity comes into point where I'm able to enter. Let's assume that I'm one of your suppliers, and we have an agreement in which I'm getting 10% out of each deal that you create. So we sign an agreement between us, and in the agreement it says 10% that I will be getting every time that you sell a product that I'm somehow involved with. Okay, great. Now let's assume that I was able to. Now this agreement always gets out of the paper into one of the machines. It can be to an ERP system, to any type of systems. And let's assume that I was able to breach into your database and change the 10% to 11% or 10.5%.
Yeah.
Now, no one would feel about it. No one will even notice of this change. And like that, I can be getting maybe millions. Again, depends on what's the size of the deal.
Yeah.
And that's integrity. But again, this is a huge issue by itself. We can speak probably a few sessions just about the integrity matter, but it's also a matter that which we need to deal in cybersecurity.
Okay.
Any questions you want to address?
Sorry, I was thinking about what you just said. I don't think there's any here really. I mean, apart from Dwayne Grand's recommended a really good book if anyone's interested. I don't know if you've read it. How to Measure Anything in Cybersecurity Risk, highly recommend. So apart from that, I think we should crack on and dig into how we're actually meant to present this to the board, Ido.
Okay, so let's discuss what the board wants to hear. What actually the board is the number one question, and I believe maybe we've talked about it also in the past, is are we safe?
Yeah.
A simple question and not a simple answer, but it is a simple question. That's what they want to know. We are safe or not safe?
Yeah.
And if we are not safe, what's the probability of an attack? And what's the impact of such an attack on our business? Are we going to be down for 2 days, for 3 days, for half a day? Interesting point.
Yeah.
Are we ready to, our backups, for example, are ready to restore, to recover fast enough? So how much downtime we should suffer, and that downtime, how much its value in dollars, in money? So that's the number one question. Are we safe or not? And again, are we safe to answer and to get the question in dollar value? That's the number one question. The number two question, what do we need to do to be safe? Now again, it's not relates to tell me that you need a firewall and a NAC and this product. We want to comply with regulations. We want to be safe. Tell us, what does this mean in terms of budget?
Yeah, how much?
Exactly. How much do we need to spend on that? How will we be able to measure that our spend is really valuable in relations to the risk? That's what the board is interesting to know.
Here's a quick question for you. This is my own one for once.
Okay.
So you see a lot of marketing bump out there talking about return on investment for security tooling. Having had a financial services background, I can't see the correlation there. For me, it's more about debt management than it is return on investment. But can you convince me otherwise?
I will try.
Yeah.
I can definitely try. I think that, first of all, again, it's another tough part, which is very, very hard to measure. There is no question about it. It's not something that it's not right away. But again, we will get how and with data that we collect in our knowledge base at CISO, it can help you do that. But again, back to the ROI. At the end of the day, what's me as a CISO responsibility? There are three elements that build my responsibility as a CISO. One is to reduce breach probability from 66 or 80, depends who you would ask. It's in any research. I've just seen this week research from VM speaking about 84 or 85% breach probability.
Yeah.
Some Ponemon speaks about 66%. So if I'm able to reduce this risk from 66% or 84% to 3% to 4%, that's a huge difference. Now you can translate how do you reduce from 66, 84% to 6% or to 4%, and that's the budget that you have put into security.
Yeah. Now
you can calculate the ROI practically, because the 60, if your breach probability is 85% and the damage is $100 million, then if you reduce this to 6%, you can exactly calculate
what the debt management figure is. No, I do see what you mean. I really like, actually, I'm going to bring it up in the chat, Dwayne's comment on return on investment is very hard. But if we talk in terms of returns on controls, we can get a picture of the cost avoidance that we are achieving. I like that. That speaks to me in my financial services language a little bit.
I absolutely agree. And if we will have time, I will get a bit into CISO, what we are just announcing next week, and about the insights that we provide with CISO. And that's something new that we haven't shown before, is we are able really to connect exactly the controls. Actually, thanks, Yuan, because someone, when will see the CISO, someone will think that I've actually asked you to ask this to put this.
He's a stooge.
Absolutely correct.
Money's in the post, Dwayne. Thank you.
What we've done is we are connecting controls and security products and procedures into how much risk it increase or decrease for the company. Okay. We are able to do that in our new, in our updated dashboard.
Is this part of what you're announcing next week at Info Security Europe?
Yes.
How exciting!
Yes, we will announce.
We've just had a breaking news moment, and we haven't made much of a fanfare about it. So thanks for sharing that, Ido.
Yes, exactly. We will be announcing CyberOS next week, which is the whole platform of CISO, and there are some new things like connecting it with CVEs, controls, things which relates to exactly that.
Okay.
Back to the board presentation. So we are able to provide and see. And by the way, in my opinion, the board of directors is not interested in the ROI. Don't misunderstand me. I don't think that the board cares, and the board does not care about the budget or the ROI, although at the end of the day, they would like to keep the budget as low as possible, of course.
Yes.
But today, they are more concerned about, are we safe? Do we comply with the SEC rules?
Yeah. And this is kind of what this is the point I was getting to with regards to that terminology that's used in the industry, you know, when it comes to selling to leadership. But that language doesn't translate, as far as I'm concerned, to the board effectively. So that was the point I was trying to get to with that.
Yeah, you're absolutely correct. I think that ROI is important for us when we manage the product, when we pick this product rather than that product. That's something we should be concerned with, of course.
Well, while I think about it, Jed, who's in the audience here, Jed, I think, is interested in reselling your product. So perhaps afterwards, Jed and Ido, you can jump on a call and chat about the potential of how that would work. Yeah,
absolutely. I will be happy to discuss that. Yes, that will be great. So again, the ROI is not for the board. No. The ROI is for the CIO, is for the CISO. Yes, it's required. We need to know that, and we do need to be able to see whether this product or that product provides better value when we build our different layers.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Yes. So absolutely. But again, the board want to know if we are safe.
Yeah.
How much budget we need overall? Obviously, if I would come up and tell the board that instead of putting X million, you can put X minus Y million, they will prefer and get the same risk exposure.
I think the problem there is, and you said it at the start of the show, the last 2 or 3 years, we've seen an increased spending on security tooling and products, but we've also seen a massive increase in breaches as well. And I've used this phrase time and time again, but the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over again and expecting different results, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. It is ridiculous. But this relates to the processes. Actually, I actually consider that there are 2 elements that contribute to exactly what happens in the industry with it. It's the processes and the lack of management involvement. Yeah. These are the 2 things that actually I've been hearing Greg also mention quite a few times about actually pitching exactly to that matter. The industry and companies and CISOs and executives should start resonate and understand they need to focus on the processes. The management should be involved. Yeah. Once this happens, we will cross the chasm.
Yeah.
The industry we will start seeing that our spending bring results and not insanity, as you said.
Yeah, I think again, you know, you can. So I'm just filling up my vape. and blame vendor narratives and lots of different things. But what you've also got to remember is that whilst you've been in this industry a long time, in relation to other industries, it's still in its infancy. And it's still finding its feet. And as much as we complain about this, it's probably a natural part of that process where it gets to the point where it becomes more of a strategic role than it does just plugging stuff in.
I think the market is still fragmented.
Yeah.
I do believe that within the next few years, we will see, and the more board of directors will be involved and management, and we'll have this transition of companies and CISOs resonate and understand and speak more.
Oh, you've frozen. I don't know if it's my end. There we go, Ido. There we go. You're back. You just cut out on my end. I don't know if you did for everyone else, but
okay. You hear me now? Good.
I can hear you now. Yeah, Greg mentioned quality management. Every industry does it. Improve processes as far upstream as you can, and you stop issues from recurring, and things improve over time, which is exactly what you're trying to say here. Thank you, Greg.
Exactly.
Hey, Richie, good to see you. Just seeing you jump in there. Sorry, Ido, I'm all over the place today. Look, squirrel.
Yeah, exactly. Now, this will create consolidation in the industry. I think that the market is ready for consolidation, and together it actually comes from different aspects. But in my opinion, within the next year, 2 years, 3 years, we will start seeing consolidation.
Yeah,
which relates to management involvement, to focus on processes, and to the board of directors being involved also in the day-to-day activities. Again, from a board of directors point of view, not from which firewall we choose or not.
Yeah, completely agree.
So these are it. Now, again, let's think back. We started with the scenario of this CISO, this poor CISO that was supposed getting a message on Tuesday for this coming Monday. I need to have a presentation to the board. What should I include? What should I so we spoke about the data that they need to collect in order to present to the board.
Yeah.
But there are two approaches. One approach is the hard approach, which this is, I would say, the most common, unfortunately, the most common today. And the hard approach is once I get a request for a board presentation meeting, I will start collecting all the data. I will work days overnight, depends if I have 1 week, 2 weeks, or 2 months for the board meeting, but I will just start collecting the data, bringing it all together and putting some sorts of a presentation. The problem with this approach, probably lots of data will be miscalculated, will probably have lots of mistakes in it because you've just collected it in a rush, and probably you have missed quite a bit. And then there's another approach. Make sure that you have a knowledge base. And in this knowledge base, you keep on maintenance and you keep all of this data on a regular basis. And then with a click, you will be able to get all of this data. So you are ready for a board meeting every minute.
Yeah.
If the call was on Tuesday, we have a meeting tomorrow on Wednesday, we want you to come to present, you have it all in your knowledge base, you have it all in your data, 90%, 95%. And once you have this knowledge base, you don't need to worry every time you get such a call when you see the number from the secretary of the CEO on the phone.
I think the comment from Jessica in the chat there is a good terminology to use for that. Constant knowledge. I like that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's another way of a knowledge base. Absolutely.
Yeah,
exactly. And this knowledge base should be residing, and that's exactly what we've built with Cisoteria. That's the idea of Cisoteria. You have all of this knowledge base, all the day-to-day activities, all of the status of your risk. You have it within the system. It's there. Once you want or you need to use it for a board presentation, you click on the right button, you get all of the data that you want. Now you can customize, but for that you need 1 or 2 hours. And in my opinion, that's how we should work. That's how we should be able. And again, not using Cisoteria, never mind. Keep all of this data. Try to keep, again, I think it's going to be very hard to do it because you need to do lots of it manually. So you can become a slave of your data.
You can.
And you don't want to be that. But never mind. Still, Once you have all of this data, you have your work plans in place. You have the data, what's coming in, which breaches you had, what vulnerabilities, where is the security operations team.
All right, that's great, right? But let me play devil's advocate here, because it's fine to have all that data, but then presenting that data to the board in a way that they engage with, listen to, and action on are two completely separate challenges, I feel.
They are, although they can be connected.
Okay.
Because once you will see the submit button at CISO, which says create my board presentation, I
didn't actually know that, by the way, before I asked that question. That was seamless. It's like I'm Dwayne in disguise here.
You're actually taking what I'm going to announce next week, but yes, okay.
So Jessica, I see you mention the comment, hit us up with the pricing. I'm sure Ido will happily reach out to you afterwards and tell you how cost effective this platform is.
Yes, but the idea really, once you hit the button, bring me or create for me a board presentation, you immediately get all of the data that the board interested in, not all the data in the database. Yeah. You get your business risk status.
Are you going to show us? Can we see?
Yes.
Can we?
Yes, absolutely. Let me just...
Oh, Greg says, take my money. There we go. There's an offer.
Let me share my screen.
While Ido's doing that, I hope you're having a good week, Greg. And you have to keep me posted on that exciting news that you've got coming soon. Just drop that little teaser in there for people to start wondering what I'm talking about.
Okay.
There we go. I've got it. Yeah, I've got it. Yeah, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the chat off the screen for now, just so you can actually see it, because if anyone's got eyes as old and rubbish as mine, you're going to struggle with that. So there you go.
Okay. This is our new dashboard, which we announced actually next week, but that's what's coming up in our new dashboard. What you see here is still in the development area and not in the production, but next week it's going to be in the production. What we see here, let me show you, is on the left-hand side, we see the risk score. The risk score of the company. So we see that now it's 63.37%. But since we have chosen, you see here, we have a week, month, quarter. You can see here on the top right of this square that a week ago we were at 68.36%. And what happened? Our risk went down, which is good. This is why it's green. Our risk went from 68% to 63%. If you want
going back to previous episodes, it's gone down because of the attributable data and actions that you've got within that platform. So as jobs are ticked off and done and completed, and that process is documented, it then reflects in that risk score. Am I right in thinking that?
You're absolutely right. Actually, I was just about to show you here.
Sorry. Yeah.
Click on the view full data. You can see exactly each of the risks, and you can see exactly what contributed to reduction or increase of your risk. What exact activity on each product or procedure, threat update, product update, every update that has been occurring by the system, by the day-to-day activities, how much it contributed to the change of your business risk for the company.
Lovely.
So you see it all from one place. You can see the graph if you want. How did it went in the last week? You can again see it monthly, quarterly, and so forth. If you wish to see the top risks, so you can see what are your top risks just from here, a snapshot of your top risks, how they look like. So that's
can I argue here that this is only for CISOs who take their role seriously and prepared to actually do their job properly, because otherwise that graph's going to look really bad for some people out there, right?
Yeah, you can say so. I would not say it.
Obviously not.
Okay.
And you've asked me to come and stand on your stand next week. Oh, God help us, Ido. God help us.
Okay. The productivity level is a very important element, because this is actually the number that we see here, the 1370, which is quite low, by the way. Yeah. Your productivity level is very low, and that's what actually makes this number. the larger the proactivity. So if you would have been here, if we would have been here at 30% proactivity, then probably our risk score would have been at 50%.
Oh, okay.
So the more the larger or an increase in the proactivity reduces our risk.
Yeah.
And the other way around, of course.
Yeah.
Now, again, for our proactivity level, again, we see what was last week and where we are today. And we see that our proactivity went up, which is good. Last week, we were at 90.
Not enough. Not enough, though, Ido, I feel.
Not enough, I agree. But by the way, next week, we are going to make lots of presentations here, so it's going to be up during the presentation. Anyhow, we can see the graph, again, the same thing, the trend during last week. We can see a breakdown of our proactivity, and we're getting exactly to what Duane, I believe, was saying about the controls. You see here the products, how they did contribute to our proactivity. Our policies contributed, actually the implementation of our policies, how did they contribute? Now, you are right, it's down. This is why it's in red.
Yeah.
If it would get to the highest level, then we will see it on green. And then we can see a full information and data about each product, and we can get to see all the details.
Can you see who's responsible for that as well?
We can see exactly here.
Right.
You see owner. In this case, we have
who's to blame? Who's to blame for that? Let's use that terminology.
Actually, in this case, it's Charles Cruz or any anyone who would pick. But that's the idea of what we have here.
Okay. And can you just a quick question from an MI, a management information point of view? If you're looking at that snapshot and it is Charles whose proactivity is sort of down the pan, can you then click through to him to see all the tasks that he's got and see where he is with each of them?
Yeah, yes, although it's not clickable from the screen I just showed, it is from here. You can get to you can get to the SecOps area and you get to the tasks and then look for all of Charles' tasks. Perfect. So yes, but not clickable. Again, it's something to improve on our.
Well, it's the date. If the date is there, the date is there. Yeah, it doesn't matter.
The data is there exactly. Now you can see here that this proactivity is based on what? On our defense layers. You remember I showed this, but we also improved these defense layers now.
Yeah.
We improved it because now there are three elements that built our defense layers: products, procedures, and recurring activities. Yeah. Now we've made these icons, so you can see now I took off everything. Yeah. We can see all of our procedures and how they contribute to our data center, which is our on-premise data center, which is called corporate.
Yeah.
We can see all the products. So I can see just the product.
Too many of them.
Too many, but that's cybersecurity.
Yeah.
There is a lot of things which relates to cybersecurity. This way, we are able to see, and you remember, I don't need to present it again, but you can click on every product, and once you get to the product, you can exactly every day-to-day activity actually increase your reduce actually your company risk. One last element I would like to show is we have insights data. In the insights data, we have few types of data which are coming in. First, we've connected the system to the CVE database, to Mitre database of the CVEs. Okay. So for every product that you have, we are able to show you if there is a new CVE with exploit existing, we are able to show you the CISO that is using this system. We are able to show you, to provide you an insight, and you will look for the full data.
Oh, wow.
You will get the full data, and you can see from here.
You can link through as well. Yeah.
You can get directly to the Mitre.
You have been busy.
What? We have been busy, indeed. Indeed, we have been busy.
This is really powerful, Ido. Really powerful. Do you know what I love the most? I mean, I've known you now for a year. We met at InfoSec Europe last year, and to see how much you've listened to your customers with regards to improvements and tweaks to this platform, I think that speaks volumes in the fact that you're listening to the audience out there and your target market and making it fit. So I'd take if I had a hat on, I'd be taking it off to you right now.
Thank you. I appreciate that. For us, our customers, although we have a lot of experience, we have, as I mentioned, we have been CISOs. We are so in one end, we know what CISOs needs, but on the other end, once CISOs start to use the system, we are getting feedback, and whatever they want, or they said, we need this, and please change that, we are doing exactly what they want.
Yeah.
Absolutely, you're absolutely correct. This many things and many changes that are happening here are based on customer feedback. Yeah. Now, let me show you, I promised you a PowerPoint presentation for the board.
You did.
We are now in the assets page. You see what we have here? Create board presentation. I clicked on it.
Love it.
It will take me a couple of seconds.
If I had a drum roll, there'd be one now.
We clicked on yeah, and in another second or two, we will get here. It will take another second. It brings all the data which relates. Here we are.
There she is.
We have a PowerPoint presentation. Again, it's here. It's coming up on my other screen. So let me bring it to this. Here we are. Okay. This prepared by CISO. Recent threats. You have here your last 3 months trend. We have here the defense layers. We just talked about defense layers. Again, whatever you want to present, which projects you are, what are the most critical projects that you have, your business assets, risk exposure, what's your total company risk exposure. This is the type of presentation. It's still in its first, it's actually, this is the first version, but the idea really is to be able to show that. Last thing I want to show maybe is just the risks. We spoke about business risk. What we see here are business risk, not cyber risk, not technology risks. These are business risks, and we can see what's my score for loss of human life. What's the score for loss of business contract? And each one of them has the data which resides on different assets and processes. That's the idea. Now, as you understand, I can speak about it, and I'm going to speak about it 3 days non-stop next week. So I will I'll stop here.
Ido, I think it's. I mean, if you look in the chat at the comments that are coming through, it's just massive amounts of positivity, and I think I know how excited I am about helping you try and grab people's attention for this next week. And we've got an amazing setup on the stand. Let's talk about that for the last couple of minutes before we wrap things up. So Tuesday through to Thursday, we're going to be on stand V18. Am I right in saying that?
Absolutely. V18. We are going to have a fish market.
We're going to have a fish market. See, this is exciting. I get to wear an apron. Yeah. And we're also bringing along a little PA system to make that special announcement. So if you can't find stand V18, is it 2 o'clock on Tuesday?
It's 2 o'clock. The announcement will be on 2 o'clock on Tuesday. If you are unable to be at 2 o'clock, we are there for Wednesday, Thursday as well. So we'll be happy to present.
And if you haven't found the stand yet, we're going to make sure that PA system's loud enough so you'll hear us talking wherever you are in that hall before they come and shut us down. So, Ido, it's been absolutely amazing again. I'm super excited to meet you again in person next week. As Dr. Mike Brass says, who needs a PA system with Simon? You sound like my wife, Mike. I'm looking forward to meeting you next week. But in all seriousness, everyone in the chat, thank you for your engagement on this as well. It really does make a difference. And I think Greg and Dwayne, you've come up with some really insightful comments, as have many of you, Dr. Mike Brass included.
Absolutely.
So that's kind of what makes these shows, I think, so special and engaging, is the fact that we all get to learn. And Ido, any last messages or last thoughts before we wrap things up and Simon gets a sandwich?
No, practically just thank you so much for the opportunity to speak here, and then next week obviously to be with us. And anyone that would come to by the way, if you're unable to come to Info Security, DM me on LinkedIn. I'll be more than happy to discuss, show, present anything which relates, and not necessarily to CISO today. If you need any help which relates to becoming a CISO, doing a CISO, feel free.
Oh, there's an offer. There's an offer. Yeah, no, absolutely. I think we can probably say it on here. So, and you can kick me metaphorically under the table if we can't. So one of the giveaways that you're going to do next week is actually giving away some of your time to help with the strategy. And I think for me, that's much more powerful than a cuddly toy. I was going to say Lego, but I do love Lego, so I don't want to put you in the same boat as that. But for any, aspiring CISOs or CISOs who need some guidance, make sure you come along and meet Ido if you're going to be there next week. He's got a wealth of experience. I'm super excited and hungry. I can hear my stomach rumbling. So I'm going to sign off now. Wish you all an absolutely amazing day while I'm trying to find the outro. And we'll see you back in the studio next week.
Thank you all. Thank you, Greg, and everyone. Joanne, thank you for participating. Take care.
Thanks, everyone. Have a great day. See you soon.